Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining the session. My name is Anant from Zoho Recruit, a technical consultant with Zoho to take care of today's new user training. The agenda for today's session is going to be, as you see on the screen, introducing Zoho Recruit, the two types of options, there is internal accounts versus staffing agency versions, and what does it mean to you? Setting up the account with regards to users, workflows, alerts, carriers' website pages, and form fields, and so on. Social and email integrations within the system, managing your data, that is clients and contacts or departments in case of internal companies, job opportunities, and the candidates associated. Once the data is added, we'll discuss about the generic recruiter's workflow, that is how a recruiter can use the system. And based on the data added after that, we'll create some sample reports. Maybe you can export them, sending them via emails and so on. And we'll go into an in-depth question and answer session at the end of the call. Introducing Zoho Recruit. Zoho Recruit, as you know, is an easy-to-use, collaborative, and inexpensive ATS, that is an applicant tracking system. Zoho Recruit is suited for both internal companies as well as staffing agencies that recruit for other clients. The difference is internal companies would be recruiting for their multiple departments, whereas staffing agencies would be recruiting for their multiple clients. The first thing, setting up your Zoho Recruit account. Once you have set up your Zoho account, you can add multiple users accounts, and the users can then be provided with access privileges in form of profiles. So user roles, the default ones are recruiter admin, recruiter, guest, and interviewer. And for each role, you can assign a profile tab, which could either be an administrator, standard profile, guest, interviewer, or your own custom profiles as well. What is the difference? Recruiter admin or the administrator is the main user of the account, like a super user who would have unrestricted access. The other type of user, recruiter, would be the general recruiter user, the standard user who can have options to view, add, and edit data. The difference is the recruiter users would not be able to delete or make any customizations or even export any data to their computer. I repeat, administrators would have access to delete, export, make customizations, and set up the other user accounts. Whereas recruiter users can only take care of their own accounts, view, add, and edit data, but they cannot delete, export, or make any customizations. Guest and interviewer, on the other hand, are free user account types where you can add any number of guests or interviewers as required. And the difference, they would be read-only role access so that they can only access whatever they've been assigned to. They cannot add any new records, but just that they can view and add comments, suggestions, or give feedback for interviews and so on. Going into Zoho Recruit, the URL to go to would be recruit.zoho.com, from which you can access all the data that you have been assigned for. Setup is where an administrator would go to access and set up the entire account. The customization start from the setup tab, where you can click on users, click on add user to start adding the users. As I mentioned, the roles versus profiles. These are the four different user types. Under the roles, where it could be admin, the super user, recruiter, the standard user, guest, or interviewers. You can add your own individual profile types if required from the profiles tab. The guest and interviewer user roles are added free of cost for your account. You can add any number of guests or interviewers. And if you have a specific paid plan account, then the subscription would apply for both administrators as well as recruiters. Once a user is added into the account, the user would receive an email which they can accept and be part of your organization. Each user needs to register and create their own account, their own ID and password, so that they can then log in back into your organizational account and access the data they are assigned for. This is the workflow automations. You can create and trigger actions automatically based on a predetermined rule. The rule can be set up from, again, the setup options. A regular case example would be, let's say, a candidate needs to be notified whenever he applies for a job. The other way around, the recruiters to be notified whenever a candidate applies for one of those jobs. This can be set up by clicking on Setup, the option called Automation. Under Automation, you will have Workflow, where you can click on Create Rule. We're given a lot of predetermined rules so that you can use them. One such is the Candidate Rule Association. You can click on Edit to access that. Where you can specify what information needs to be triggered for that particular rule. Let's just create a new rule right now. So click on Create Rule. I'm choosing the module Candidates. I'm typing the rule Notify Recruiters. Notifying recruiters for a candidate application. Next. So when should it be executed? Whenever a record is added. And the rule would be on candidate applying for a job. So I'm going to create a rule and a trigger alert whenever a candidate applies for a job, trigger a notification to the recruiters. So choose that, click on Next. Use Send Alert. So for each rule, there will be 4 different options which you can trigger. You can either send an alert, which is an email notification, assign a task to a particular member, update the fields of the candidate record, or call webhooks. Webhooks is an option where you can integrate to a third-party website, or in short, you can call a link within Zoho Recruit which performs an action. Clicking on Send Alert, you can then choose the alert. So, recruiter notification. If you have already created a template, you can use that. So I'm just creating the one that I've already created. I'm sending the email to the candidate owner, which means that the recruiter who's assigned for the job. Click on Save and Associate and save. So what happens now is that for each candidate that applies for the job's owner would get a notification with the email template that I've just created here, Candidate Association. Similarly, you can create multiple workflows and alerts where an email can be triggered, or as I mentioned, any one of those 4 actions can be chosen, or multiple options as well. Like whenever a candidate applies, you can trigger an email and assign a task to the recruiter to manually phone the candidate and check for the information. Or you can update a field in the candidate record mentioning that email sent. Or you can even send a text message notification to a particular candidate or to the recruiter mentioning that a candidate has applied. So all these different options are possible. The carrier's website page. So in Zoho, we provide you the option where you can publish the jobs posted in Zoho to your own website, which is called the carrier's website page functionality. You can customize this page in a way you require it. This can be done from, again, the Setup tab on the top right panel. You have this option called Carrier Website Page Integration. Click on that. The main thing to notice is the candidate login option here. Candidate login is an option which provides the candidate an ability to register a profile and use the profile to apply for multiple jobs. You can either turn them on or turn them off. It's like a toggled option where you can log in, enable or disable if required. For each account, we give you a unique URL which can be embedded to your own website page. So anyone who clicks on apply, they would be redirected to your own candidate application form. So details they submit on your own website would be redirected to the candidate's database within your own account. This is an example of a carrier's website page functionality. The information that you see here under this tabular column is loaded from Zoho. So when an applicant clicks on apply, the Zoho Recruits candidate form is opened up, and details they submit online on your website is added back into your Zoho database. This is another example. This user has used the candidate login feature. As you could see, the sign and sign up option here. So an applicant can sign up for a particular account use that particular account to apply for multiple jobs. So these jobs are then loaded from Zoho. So whenever you add a job, you will have the option to post these jobs to your own website. So an applicant can go to your website, view all the job opportunities, and apply to them. This is the careers website page functionality, the customizations of forms and fields. So under setup, you have the customization and modules, where you can choose what module and what information would be there. You can click on fields to configure the multiple themes that you have. Example, I go into candidates, I can click and create a new custom field. So these are the form field values that will be used on your applicant form. So the fields that you see here are used as a backend skeleton form and the fields associated. So all the fields are added in here, from which you can choose what fields need to be used by the candidate's application form or within your own module if required. Click on New Custom Field and it gives you the list of options of what a field can be. Example, I can create another email field and call it secondary email or work email, for example, and click on Save. The other way around, I can go to the job openings page and create a custom field for text area, the big paragraph field, and call them roles and responsibilities, for example. This publishing website is what is used to display these jobs to your own website. So should this field be made public or private, you can decide that for yourself. Click on Save and the data gets saved immediately. So when you go back to job openings, click on a new job opening. This information that we just added, roles and responsibilities here, is already added here. The same setup option can then be used to reorganize as well. So under customization, we have something called layouts, which can be used to reorder the list of fields in a way you require it. For example, I want to see this on top of the page, and I do not want to see this, then I can just delete it from here. Click on Save. The form gets saved. So when you go back to job openings and open a job, roles and responsibilities are moved up. The other option that we just saw here is deleted. To summarize, you can go to Setup, Customization, Fields to add your own custom fields, which you can use to publish to your own website or not. Similarly, just go to Candidates and other modules to add your own custom fields. We provide you a lot of options which can be used. Pick list would be the drop-down option, multi-sec list would be the checkbox option, and so on. I'm sure you can use this to understand more about what are the custom fields option available and how you can add them by going into Setup, Customization, and Fields. Let's talk about the social and email integration. So with regards to social integration, we give you the ability to link your own Facebook pages that you own or administer, or your own personal Twitter profiles as well. We also have the LinkedIn integration, which can be used to post the jobs to your own website, or it could also be where you can link the candidate information to their own LinkedIn profiles as well. The second topic about email integration is when you can configure your business email account within the system. This can be used to send and receive emails within Zoho Recruit, and also gives you the opportunity to track the emails automatically. I'll show you how. First topic, social integration. There's an option called Social tab, which you can click to access your Twitter profiles and the Facebook pages that you own. This can be set up from clicking on Setup. Scroll down. There will be a social settings here, from where you can configure your Twitter profile and the Facebook profile. For Facebook, as I mentioned, it needs to be a page and not your personal profile. So if you can still configure your profile, which can be used to link the candidate's profile, but if you have a page, you can use that to administer to see what's happening on your Facebook page as well as Twitter page. The other advantage, you can go to the social tab. post your own information right from here. You can tweet and drop Facebook messages and reply to them and so on from here. You can also open a candidate profile. You can either add them as a candidate or you can add them as a contact as well. For someone who sent you a message or liked your activity, or you can view their profile and directly add them from here. So instead of copying the information, you can just simply click on add candidate. The candidate who just tweeted to you can be added as a candidate record. The second side of it is when you go to the candidates tab and you open a candidate profile. One, you can link their LinkedIn profile. You can search who's the candidate and associate to them, from which you can view all the candidate's information right at the click of a button. So any information the candidate has seen or shown to you on the LinkedIn profile can be immediately linked. The second option is the Twitter, where you can just choose what information it's going to be. Click on associate. You can also directly just transfer the information that they have in Twitter profile to be on their candidate's display photo as well. Third is the Facebook profile, where you can just choose what is the information, click on associate. Again, their information is associated. Any information they share publicly will be shown here. The same scenario, you click on a photo and you can use that as a display photo for the candidate record. You can also deactivate the same by clicking on this and disassociate if required. This is the social integration. The next topic is the email integration, where you can click on emails, go to settings, mail accounts, and add POP3 account to add your own business email accounts into the system. I'll repeat, under emails, there will be a settings tab where you can click on mail accounts to add your own business email accounts. The other way to do that is going into setup, scroll down, there will be apps and add-ons. Under add-ons, you can choose Zoho apps, Zoho Mail, and you can add your mailbox from here. You can choose the email account you want to track, choose what email ID you would like to send the email as, and click on save. The next main thing about email sharing is that for each email sent to a candidate or received from a candidate can be shared across your users. This is what the email sharing permission is meaning for, where you can choose public if you'd like to share the emails you have sent or received from a candidate profile or a contact profile. Personal emails that you send within your own user accounts or personal other accounts will not be shared. Only the emails you have sent or received from the candidate profile will be automatically searched, tracked, and shown to you. Scroll down, go to the Candidates tab, open a candidate profile. It will look into the email account, the email ID that you specified. Any email you have sent or received to the candidate is shown under this particular emails tab. You can choose if you have sent or any other email has been sent, can be seen from here. So any email along with their attachments is automatically tracked and shown to you. This is the email integration. The next thing we'll discuss is the workflow of a recruiter. A generic recruiter's workflow would be to first set up a client database. In case of internal companies, it would be the departments. Add the job opportunities concerning the client or the department. Publish them to multiple job boards and websites. Source them from either your own website, multiple other job boards, resume parsing features. If you have emails and attachments in Outlook or other attachments, you can then source the candidates from there. Based on the data you have sourced, you can associate them, qualify them for the jobs that you have, send them mass emailers and text messages to check if they're interested, shortlist the candidates, then forward them to the candidate's manager for approval. Based on the approval, you can schedule multiple rounds of interviews, based on which you can choose to hire or reject the candidate. This is a generic recruiter's workflow to find the ideal candidate. Of course, you will have your own options, but this is just a suggestion from our end. If you have your own workflow, you can incorporate them in Zoho as well. Let's talk about each one of these options in Zoho. Adding your clients and contacts. This can be done by going into the Clients tab, switching into Zoho. This is a separate Clients tab and Contacts tab. Clients are the companies you deal with. Contacts are the point of contacts for those companies. Let's say, for example, I'm opening a company called OnePlus. It details all the information I already have added for the client profile and who is the contact with regards to this company. So you can click on this to know who the contact is, along with their photo and LinkedIn information and so on. As I said, you can click on it to find the information and click on Associate to link them. To add a new client, you can use New Client to manually type the information, or if you have the company details and contact details in an Excel file, you can use Import from Spreadsheet. Our Excel migration wizard would help you transfer all the contacts and the clients in your Excel file to be migrated into Zoho automatically. The third option is Import from Zoho CRM. This applies if you already have a Zoho CRM account. The management software would help you in transferring your leads and potentials into accounts and contacts. So if you're into CRM software and you already have a Zoho CRM account, then the accounts and contacts you already have in there can be transferred over as clients and contacts. This is how a company profile would look like. All the jobs the company has given you would be listed under the associate job openings. If you have a new job order from the company, you can click on New Job Opening here, which redirects to the Job Openings window, or go to Job Openings, click on New Job Opening to manually type in the information from which you can choose which client this job is going for. Similarly, if you have the details in your Excel file, you can use Import from Spreadsheet. To repeat, if you want, you can manually add the information by using New Job Opening, or if you already have the details in an Excel file, you can use Import from Spreadsheet as well. With regards to sourcing, you can then publish them either to your own website or multiple other job boards. The list of job boards we support are, as you see on the screen, Indeed, Simply Hired, Juju, Career Builder, Glassdoor, and right now LinkedIn as well. Let's just go back into Zoho. I'm opening up a new job here, let's say Customer Service Manager for OnePlus. For each job I'll be given an option called Publish. Clicking on Publish, you'll be given the option where you can publish or post the job opportunities. As I said, one, you can either publish this job in your own website using Career's website page functionality, or post to the linked job boards Career Builder, Glassdoor, Indeed, Juju, LinkedIn, and Simply Hired. So this is available in the paid version of Zoho Recruit, not in the trial or free editions. Out of these job boards, LinkedIn and Career Builder are the paid job boards. There's no cost associated with Zoho, but if you already have a paid account with Career Builder or a paid recruiter account in LinkedIn with active job slots, these jobs can then be posted from Zoho to those particular paid websites automatically. For the rest of the job boards, there is no cost involved. For Indeed, you can either choose to post it for free or you can choose the sponsored feed of $200 per job opportunity. Again, this cost goes directly to Indeed and no cost is to be paid to Zoho. You can choose which job board you wish to post the job to and whatnot. Let's say if you just wish to post the job only to your own website and not to job boards, you can simply uncheck them, click on Next, and the job gets published to those websites. Let's say I'm choosing Simply Hired. Then I can also just choose the job board I require and Next, and the job would be posted to that particular website. For each job that is posted to the other job boards, you need to mandatorily specify few information that is required by default by the job boards. For each job that you publish, you can then choose which web form you would like to use. Web forms are nothing but the candidate application forms. For each job, you can specify what would be the candidate application form as well, where you can create your own custom forms with your own questions and answers that needs to be specified by the applicants. So clicking on finish would publish the job to those particular job boards. For each job that you publish, you will be given a unique URL which can then be posted to other job boards as required. Applicants who apply through this link, the information provided would also be added into the Zoho database automatically. So with regards to sourcing, we just discussed how to post a job to your website or the list of other job boards. We have three other options in Zoho which can be used. The resume parsing functionality. Under Candidates tab, you can click on New Candidate and type the information manually, one by one, or import from document. This is the resume parsing feature where you can click on Browse, choose a particular resume that you would like to parse. Let me try to find one. So let's say I'm using this resume. It could be in any of the formats. It could be doc, PDF, TXT, HTML. As long as it is Word or text based, it is accepted. We do not accept images. You can also bulk select documents and parse them at once. The only constraint is per upload, a maximum of 50 megabyte is used. So if you're compressing them into a zip file and uploading, you can upload about 400 to 500 CVs at a particular moment. So whenever you parse a candidate information from a resume or CV, the candidate's name and contact information, etc., is automatically parsed. This is the resume parsing feature. This can then be searched and assigned to other jobs. The other options are paste the resume. Assume you're in a website, let's say LinkedIn, or some website where you found a candidate's information. You can then simply select the CV or just copy the information, log into Zoho, open them in a new tab, paste the resume and import. Similarly, just like how you parse the candidate's resume from a document, you can paste them in here and have them parsed automatically as well. Paste the resume is just another option, an extension to the import from document. Just that the document is not available on your computer, but just that it's available on a different website. Import from spreadsheet is the option to automatically extract information from Excel files, the Excel migration wizard. Just attach the candidate information in the Excel file, browse them over. The same constraint, the file size should be maximum of 50 MB per upload. You can import them, maybe hundreds and thousands of information you have in Excel file is automatically imported over to the system. The next two options in having this over is one, we have a Chrome plugin called the Resume Extractor. This can be downloaded from the Google Chrome App Store, where you can just go to Google Chrome, find the extensions, and install that. What it does is that similar to the paste the resume option, if you are on a particular website and you see a document or a CV, you can just select the text and click on this button, and the candidate's information is automatically pulled over. So instead of again copying and pasting it, you can just select the text, click on this button, and it gets over. So it could be in any of the websites and any of the data that format that you see. As long as it is Word in a text-based format, it can be automatically passed over. This is called the Resume Extractor by Zoho Recruit. The next option is under Setup. We have an option, it's an add-on called the Microsoft Outlook plugin. You can download the plugin and install it on top of your Outlook so that emails and attachments available in your Outlook can be transferred over automatically. So to repeat, if you have an Outlook and using a Windows-based computer, then you can download this plugin and transfer the emails and attachments available in your Outlook drive to be transferred over into Zoho Recruit at a click of a button. Now that we have brought over the information from multiple sources, we'll learn how to categorize these candidates, send them mass emailers, and choose how you can forward these information to your managers for approval, and schedule their interviews. From the Candidates tab, to the top right panel, you'll see a small box in here. This is called the search box. There are three different types of searches. One is the simple search, where I can just simply specify a text that I need to search. Let's say I'm looking for Java. Any candidate or contact found with that particular keyword is automatically shown, from which I can select the candidate and use associate to job opening to link them to a particular job. The second option is the Boolean search, where I can specify Java and Oracle. The usage of and or not can be used in the Boolean search. I click on the record, similarly use associate job opening or send them emails, text messages from here. Just in short, link them to jobs so that it can be used later. You can also add something called notes so that you can know that what information you're looking for. So let's say Oracle and Java specialty. This can also be done. The third option is called the advanced search, where you can specify what information needs to be found. For example, I can find some information like city contains, let's say, San Jose. And you can find that. Or you can even go a step further and do advanced keywords again, using search again, use the and or not here again, and or choose, for example, I'm looking for candidates that is having an experience greater than 4 years, for example, from which again I can choose the options that I require and then associate them to a job, choose the job, and associate them. This is how you do the searches in Zoho. So as I said, we do basic keyword search, Boolean keyword search, or you can use your own advanced search as well. One more option in advanced search is the custom search. For example, you can do something like Java and JSP or Oracle and 99, for example. You can then use your own brackets and search for functionalities as well. Instead of just doing and, not, and so on, you can do that as well. Now that the candidate's information have been searched and linked to the jobs, you can then go back to job openings, open the particular job. You'll see the list of candidates that are currently active, from which you can open the candidates, select the ones that you require. You'll be given the options called one, you can send them a text message by using send SMS. You can use send email if you'd like to send them a bulk email. This can be done by using one of the templates you have created from the setup tab. Templates are nothing but the draft messages that you save and use them every time you would like to send manual emails to candidates, contacts, or your own users as well. Now that we have added these candidates, you can then check if they're okay for the job opening. You can just click manually to check if they're okay or not okay, from which you can select, go to the action. There's an option called change status. You can use this to update them from one status to another. Let's say I'm just going to update them as maybe rejected and update. The status changes accordingly for those different candidates. So once you reject them, the candidates are just automatically moved from active candidates that I've just selected. From this, I can select the ones that I require, go to action. I'll have an option called submit to client. Submit to client is an aspect where I can forward the candidate's information to my own client for approval. In case of internal companies, this can be forwarded to their own hiring managers who would be able to check and notify if the candidates are okay or not okay. You can choose your own templates which needs to be sent. And of course, you can choose if you would like to send the original CV of the candidate or you would like to send the formatted version of the CV. You can format the candidate's CV in a format that you require to be presented to your own clients. click on send, and the email will be sent to the particular contact of your own company that you've just chosen here. To generate a formatted resume, open the candidate, go to more actions. You'll be given the option to generate a formatted resume. This can be set up by going into setup. Under resume management, you have formatted resume settings. This is available to the staffing agency versions alone, since it can be used to send to the client. As I mentioned, the formatted resume is one you can use your own branding to create another version of the CV. You can choose what information needs to be retained and what needs to be removed. So just going back to job opportunities, you can open the job. You can now find out who are the candidates and what statuses they are currently in. Clicking on this, it will show you what are the status of the candidates. You click on a candidate, use change status in the right side to manually change them from one to another as well. Once the candidates are approved by the client, you can select them, go to action, there will be an option called, for each candidate, you can select, use the schedule interview aspect. You can either select from them or you can just use the option in the right side panel, schedule interview. So I'm just choosing first level interview. The interviewer can be either yourself, someone from your company under the users tab, or you can use the contacts to have anyone from your contacts, the company that you're representing, to take care of the interview. Clicking on save would create the interview. For each candidate profile, you can schedule the interview. The interviewer would receive an email, the notification, along with a calendar invitation so that they can accept and be part of the interview. They can also choose to reject the interview invitation, and the status update would be notified to you automatically. With regards to the candidate would receive an email notifying them of the interview, any of the other attachments that you've done along with the email. You can also set automatic reminders to be sent to the interviewer as well as candidate from the setup workflow options as well. So you can use the interviews tab to find the pending interviews. For example, I've just scheduled a first level interview for the candidate George Smith. Once this interview is over, the interviewer can log in and provide the feedback, or you as a recruiter or an admin can also do that. Just open the interview, the first option, interview status. You can click on change status to update them from one status to another. It could either be selected, rejected, or on hold. So I'm just going to choose selected for the candidate and updating the status as well. Interview in progress and updating it. So when you go back to jobs, open the job, click on the candidate, George Smith. You could see that the status is changed to interview in progress. You can click on schedule interview again if you'd like to schedule another round of interview. Let's say I'm choosing second level interview. I'm choosing the interviewer to be someone from a company and scheduling the interview. The interviewer can then similarly go to interviews tab to view the second level interview and then give his feedback, whether the candidate is okay or not okay. The same is updated on the candidate profile. Since they're all interrelated, you can either go to the candidates tab, open the candidate profile, and then see the status here. Interviews, selected. Or you can go to the job openings tab right from here to find what is the job they were related for. So for billing, port dispatcher, that was the status. Once the candidate is okay and chosen to be hired by the client, you can use again change status, change them from one status to another. In this case, for example, I choose to hire the candidate. You'll be given an option called hire and lock so that the users can lock the candidate so that another user recruiter from the company should not be able to contact the same candidate again. This is just optional. For each candidate that you hire, we recommend you lock them so that another recruiter searching for a similar job may not be able to contact them. Clicking on update would change the status and lock the candidate profile. So when you go back to the candidates tab, you could view that is hired and locked. You'll see an unlock option here, which means that he is currently locked. And the status is updated on top of the page, which is hired for the job bilingual port dispatcher. You could also see that when you scroll down, the status of the job bilingual port dispatcher is currently filled because the job had one open position, which was just filled by George. The next option is, since the candidate has been hired for your own client, you'll be given the option to convert them to a contact as well if required. For each contact, when you open, you'll be given the option called convert so that you can convert them from being a candidate to a contact record as well if required. This is just an option where you can convert candidates to be client contacts and contacts to be candidates as well if required. So we've discussed how to categorize candidates, send them mass emailers, forwarding candidates' profile for approval, scheduling interviews, and finally choosing hire or reject candidates, creating reports. Based on the data we have added for the jobs, candidates, interviews, contacts, and so on, the data is then pushed into the reports module where the reports can be created. We've given a lot of pre-bundled reports which can be accessed from the reports tab of your account. You can also create your own custom reports in a way you require it. Reports created under the reports tab can also be saved and accessed from the dashboard tab as well. Switching into Zoho, you have the dashboard tab where you can view your own reports, the predetermined reports that you've just created. You can include your own dashboards if required. Any reports that you've pre-created will be shown here. Clicking on Reports tab will give you a list of reports you have been created. Let's say I'm opening a report called Candidate Associated to Client. This is giving me a list of all the clients that I have in the jobs and what is their current status is. As you could see, just now we just hired the candidate job for the client, my company, and it's already showing up in the report. For each report that is created, you can then export them to your own computer in a format you require. This is another option, a report, job opening status report, and the particular jobs. I currently have 3 jobs that are filled, another 4 in progress, and 2 other recruiters that are assigned to it. As I said, for each report, you can then export them into a format you require. Opening up will show you the pivot information, the summary information we just saw. This main information of the reports will be accessed to the main admin of the account. If you are a recruiter user or the other user, request your admin to share these reports to you. To create a new report, you can click on Create Report. Choose what sort of a module and the information you would like to create. Choose what information needs to be shown. And the report can be saved. And the report is shown. Similarly, you can set your own filters and then export them to your own computer if required. If you require further assistance on this, we'll be glad to help. You can just drop us a note via email, or you can just give us a call and we'll be able to help you better. So this summarizes the basic training for Zoho Recruit. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me.